Hey guys, what's going on? This is just a video going over my castle tower thing that I built. I've been building this for a while and I don't really like it, and so I want to break it soon. Which you're probably like, my gosh, why are you going to build it such a massive thing and then break it soon after that? But I'm not really happy with some of the foundations of it, some of the way that I worked with the colors and all that. So this is basically just going to be a video breaking down some of the different rooms and the structures and the fun bits before I move on to the next project. So we're going to start basically just deconstructing it and then going through everything from there. The first thing on here is the bell tower. It does have this little chain here that dangles off the side that you can kind of ring the bell with. That was inspired by another YouTube channel. The rest of the top is just some Gothic architectural details. There's not that much to it, but it does actually have ladders going all the way from the bottom here all the way up to the top. Everything in this castle can be disassembled, and you can also get to any point from the castle if you're an actual minifigure, so it's not like you have these free-floating platforms. So after that's removed, you have this piece on the top. This one also just comes off. It's connected by a couple of plates underneath. We'll do that, and then we're also going to take off some of these roof panels. In total, I have 3 of these panels. They are relatively simply constructed, just some snap bricks on the inside holding everything together. But essentially, instead of clicking into place, they basically just sit right on top. This one actually goes over here on top of my library, but they just kind of sit in place there, and the sloped bricks underneath hold them in place, and so they don't really move around too much, but it's really easy to take them on and off of the build, which I think is really nice. So this is the first section. This is going to be basically the blacksmith shop and such. So this part all kind of just lifts off like that, assuming that I don't break the whole thing. There's a little trapdoor under there that connects to a ladder that goes right there, and that also kind of fell off, unfortunately, so sorry about that. But this is basically where the shop is. Everything is kind of in here. It's kind of hard to see everything, but it's a lot of boxes, anvil, got a fireplace right there where metal is melted down. It's relatively simple, but I tried to pack a lot of detail in there. It's just kind of hard to see without taking off the entire roof paneling. The next section over here is basically just this little courtyard area. It's not that much of an open space, but it's where some of the battlement access is. You would go up the stairwell on the other side, or this one over here, and then you can get to all of these points to get around the battlements. There's also a ladder up here that gets to the ballista. This is a ballista that I made a while ago, and I really like the design, so I kind of just kept it together. I might do a short on that later if you guys want to see specifically how to build that. The next section is the library. As you can see, a lot of the books kind of just fell all over the place, but there are shelves all along those walls, and these are mostly books from Harry Potter, with a couple builds that are based on the builds that they use in the Sanctum Sanctorum for the bookshelves. So it's basically just plates that are on snap bricks and then mounted horizontally so that they look like books on a wall. There's a door there, there's a window on that side. Pretty simple room, and then it also just connects right next to the courtyard that I was just talking about. So taking off that stuff, we get to the mess that is the interior of the castle. So this would be the Lord's room. It has a bed from, I believe that's from Hogwarts, against the wall there. And then it has a chair, I think, also from Hogwarts to the Sanctum Sanctorum. I kind of just keep a lot of bits like that, just because I think they're well constructed and I use them later. Table there, another box, and that's all right next to one of these, which I think is kind of neat, just up against the wall. There's a staircase that goes all the way down to the next level, and then this is the barracks for most of the soldiers, and there's some like buckets over there that I can put stuff in. There's a dude, and then this is my church. I didn't cram that much detail in here because there's not that much space, but this is a tabernacle in the back. And then the altar is up here, and then the candle, and that's the priest. This is a, it came in a not Lego set, but it is actual Lego parts, and it's just printed. There's just the printed little white square on there. I don't know how you actually get that set, but it's something that my brother and I got ages and ages ago that we keep around. So in any case, with that, we're going to take off those levels and move on to the next one. So the next room under the church is the Great Hall. This was going to be a fire pit that had a chimney going all the way up, and then that was going to come out of the top of the building. But that's one of those areas that I kind of just skimped out on as I moved up the layers of the castle, and one of the reasons I don't like it so much. There's some details like that I kind of just missed on. Same thing in the blacksmith shop, where there's a fire pit, but there's not an actual chimney coming out of it. In any case, there is a lot of food around here. There's some like interesting cabinetry over here and over here. This is, I think it uses a printed piece from Harry Potter. It should be Snape's classroom of some sort or other, and then there's like a spice rack sort of thing there. Lots of barrels, pumpkins, chickens, all that. The other room is kind of a strategy room, so there's the Great Hall is accessed through a door back there. This is accessed through a side passage coming from there that I'll show you in a moment. Then it comes up through here. This staircase leads up to the higher levels, up to here. And then there's basically just a area where leaders and such can talk and negotiate and all that stuff right there. There's an alcove there that was never really filled in, but I probably would have done that if I would have committed more fully to this castle. But with that, we're going to move on to the last couple things that you can actually separate. So here's that door I mentioned earlier that leads into the Great Hall, which is still right there as I just showed you. The staircase to the planning room is right here, and then there's another side door over here that comes to the loading thing. This is also going to be something I'm probably going to make a short on later on, but I really like this mechanism. If we move that roof, there are some winches on this side, so essentially it's built into a dock, and you can put whatever ship you want to at the dock. It doesn't matter at all. Usually this would be in front here, but my dresser that I have this sitting on doesn't extend far enough forward where I can do that and have a ship and all that. So this is kind of on a weird side. But usually you would have this here, and there's a winch system where this can move back and forth. It can pivot that way, and then it can move up and down, and so you can get something from a ship all the way up here onto this loading platform, which goes into some double doors there into a deeper section of the castle. But this is basically just a door that would go to the operating room, which is right here. And then this whole thing can also be taken off. It's connected with some Technic. It uses Technic half pins, or Technic pins, sorry. And then these blue Technic hybrid pins to keep everything in place and organized. So that's how that works, and there's some doors there. There's a bathroom over here. This is actually what some toilets and castles would look like, where you would have basically a grill underneath and you would sit on that, and then you know what would fall down into, I guess, the ocean below, or whatever it is, in this case at least. I do also have some nice little statues on the outside there, and there's also a Grim Reaper statue over here. The Great Hall does not come off. Under this, you can't really see it very well, but there is a whole cavernous area there, and that has a very interesting function. So in the back, there is actually a winch. I might do a short on this as well, but it's in the back somewhere. The wall actually opens up, and there's a winch that goes to an elevator that's in there. And so the elevator comes from this hole in the dock all the way up into that section of the castle, which is where you would unload cargo and supplies. So here are those panels opened up on the back, so you can kind of see what I meant there. But if we come back around, you can see the winch. So ideally, if I can stick my hand back here and actually turn this thing downwards, this might take a minute. There's an elevator that comes through here all the way down. So we'll just skip to that being all the way down. So here it is when you extend it all the way down. Not too much of note really. You can put whatever the heck you want on there, and then with that winch that I just mentioned, it'll come all the way back up through here, through these battlements, which is all this layer is really, into the unloading area. There's some stairs where you can get everything up into the main section of the castle, and that's just about all there is to it. Besides that, it's really just docks, random useless tower, all that sort of stuff. Not too much of note. I will probably make a video on, or a short at least, on this, and then probably the ballista as well, and maybe the winch function. There's not that much to all of them, but I figure they might be interesting. With all that said, I plan on breaking this all soon and building a new castle, so maybe that'll be on the channel as well. Who really knows? Updates have been terrible. In any case, I'll see you all in the next video.